Hey everyone, Chloe from the Chloe Connection here again, and please pardon the hair. I know it looks horrible, but I didn't feel like doing anything with it, so this is what we get. And that was my half-assed attempt at creating some sort of new intro for my videos. You know, might help to say the name of my channel, as I say my name too. But you're already watching it, so doesn't really matter. Up for debate. So, to cut to the chase, we're here today because I hate my voice. Yay! That's probably not something you would yay about. But more specifically, I just wanted to talk about, kind of a lot of the discomfort I have surrounding my voice. I thought it would maybe be fun to show y'all, let y'all listen to a few, voice clips from, earlier in my transition compared to where I am now. Because, I do get a lot of rude people saying, oh my god, you sound like a man, hashtag trans problems. But I thought it would be fun to show that, while I still don't love my voice, and I think it's definitely more in an androgynous range than a more quote-unquote female range, all that bullshit is a social construct, too. But, I thought it'd be fun to show, how far I've come, and also talk just, again, a little bit about some of the discomfort, dysphoria, if you will, that I have surrounding the way I sound and kind of the reactions I get to my voice from other people. So, pardon me while I scroll through my phone. These recordings are going to sound really stupid in terms of the content. I start them all out in the same way, and it's really annoying, but bear with me. This one is actually the first recording I have in my phone from February 2015. So this was about 9 months before I came out full-time, and about, maybe 4 or 5 months after I started, probably about 5 months after I started, coming out to people. This one is titled Baby's First Recording. Here we are. Okay, so I haven't done a recording in probably a week or so now, so I just wanted to touch base with another one just to see how I'm sounding, just to make sure I'm not getting any worse. I haven't really been practicing much lately, but, I just want to make sure I'm still on the same track, I guess. Alright, so that was over 4 years ago now, and you can tell my voice is probably very androgynous, but also, I guess you could say very masculine still, to an extent. Again, these are all bullshit, terms that society uses to put people like us down. By us, I mean trans people, especially trans women. So that's very early. I had been practicing my voice on and off for maybe a couple months, usually in private, in my car, in between going from, home to campus and stuff like that. So it's very sporadic, and it was especially difficult going, between using my practice voice and using my, boy mode voice. So here's a recording I picked out from October of 2015, so this was only about a week before I came out full-time. So this is kind of where my voice was sitting at when I came out. Let's see. Yeah, I noticed my last recording sounded a little monotone, so I should probably work on that. So monotone. I just, as before, I think I need to work on my pitch and also my range. I think I've gotten rid of a lot of, the characteristic male resonance, but the pitch and range still are. So there's a little bit of that. And if anyone's interested in hearing more of these, I can always figure out some way to post them. So, you can probably notice a difference there. I'm talking about, pitch, tone, resonance. I don't know a lot about those terms, but, from things that I've read and seen on the internet, especially, trans woman voice training, one of the big things is getting the resonance out of your chest, because typically your voice, when it's more quote-unquote masculine, when you've gone under a quote-unquote male puberty, and your Adam's apple kind of drops, your voice tends to sit more in your chest, as opposed to somebody who goes through a more female puberty where your voice tends to sit in your throat. So a lot of the training is about raising your voice from here to here in terms of where it vibrates, because that really affects the way it sounds. The pitch may be the same, but the vibration will be different, which really impacts where the voice falls. So here's another recording. This one is from this past December, so about slightly over 6 months ago. So you can again see progress. This is probably not going to be much different than where I'm at now, but I chose this particular one because here is me trying and mostly failing to drop my voice again. I didn't feel like doing that on camera right now because it takes a lot of work to like try to force my voice down. Anyways, let's listen.
Okay, so I'm going to start with my voice lower and more of a chest resonance. I can't even get my voice very low. But I'm going to push it up, and here is kind of where I feel like the resonance is primarily in my... Ow! Stop!
And there's Tipsy attacking me. She wasn't a fan of my low voice. She's like, why are you doing this?
It's kind of like in the middle of my throat, so it's much higher.
So, and then obviously, this is where I am today. So, you know, my voice probably hasn't changed much in the past 2 years. It's probably stayed about where it was. Honestly, I didn't do a whole lot of voice training after I came out full time, and I do sporadic voice training here and there because, like the title of my video, I am not a huge fan of my voice. So sometimes I get moments of being very self-conscious about it and go on like a day or a couple days, maybe a week or two of practicing more regularly. And I think that helps a little bit in terms of like feminizing my voice. But it's kind of this balance between like, who am I feminizing it for? Am I feminizing it for me or for the world? And it's hard to say sometimes. You know, I'm trying to feminize it for my own self-esteem to help passability, which is something that as a trans person I shouldn't have to do, but because I am a trans person, I sometimes feel like I have to do it in order to fit in with society. That's a whole thing. So, you know, my voice does give me a lot of discomfort because there have been a handful of situations where I have passed very well, and pardon the fireworks, because I'm recording this on 4th of July, and being in Carbondale, Illinois, there really isn't anything to do besides set off fireworks, apparently. I'm surprised people don't do that on more days than just the 4th. Anyways, so, yeah, my voice gives me a lot of discomfort, because there are situations where, like physically, I tend to pass, probably 75 to 90% of the time. For all you haters out there that say, like, how could you ever pass? I mean, you haven't seen me in person, you haven't seen my full body except in maybe, like, 1 or 2 videos. But yeah, there's situations where it's like, I pass until I open my mouth. And then at that point, it's like, I will typically still get gendered correctly, but sometimes I do get those weird looks where, like, I was not expecting that voice to come out of you, and I want to say, like, I don't blame you. You've been socialized to expect different things. But yeah, it says weird reactions, and awful comments that I get from people online in various forms of social media, awful comments I've gotten from people in person, constant weird looks, all those kinds of things that a lot of trans women deal with. A lot of trans people who have voices that aren't congruent with their appearance, I would say. You know, congruent with expectations based on how we appear to the world, which is bullshit that, you know, some people like myself feel like I have to do this work to try to conform. I shouldn't have to, but I want to sometimes in order to help my self-esteem and reduce chances of microaggressions, so to speak. People saying or acting in ways that show that I don't really fit in, or that I am a freak or weird or something like that, and it's uncomfortable. So it's kind of like a safety precaution to reduce the likelihood of that. And honestly, when my voice sounds more feminine, I like what I hear too, which is there's probably a lot to unpack there. Yeah. You know, some people I've talked to some people about like voice feminization surgery. That is probably a route I don't think I will ever go down, because I've heard very mixed results. I was going to say seen, but heard would technically be the right word there. Just very mixed results in terms of how the voices sound. Like a lot of people, I've heard voices where they sound unnaturally high, almost like Minnie Mousey, and that's just not what I want to go for, especially with a surgical procedure where you can't really undo that after the fact. Because I've done, I think, a lot of training on working on my voice. I've always kind of had feminine, expressive mannerisms, and I feel a lot more comfortable doing that as I notice my hands moving all around in all weird directions. I've been a lot more comfortable doing that since I came out, obviously, but it's something that I didn't really have to train or practice. It's just something that kind of came out later. And I feel like I'm rambling in this video, which is interesting because this video is about how I hate my voice, but I feel like I'm talking a lot. Whew. I think I'll stop there. I think this is like a little... The point of this was just to give y'all a little insight into why, like, my voice gives me some discomfort, but also to show that, like, I feel like I've come a long way in terms of, like, where my voice used to be compared to where it is now. And I honestly don't know how well those recordings will show up in terms of volume in the final video, so fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. As always, I would love to hear what y'all have to say down below in the comments. I'd love to hear if you have anything that you're comfortable sharing about your experiences with voice training, maybe what has worked or hasn't worked as well in terms of voice feminization, and if you feel especially comfortable sharing experiences with, you know, how your voice has been perceived by yourself and others out in the world. You know, like most of my videos, I kind of want this to be like a dialogue in a way that we can help each other reach whatever goals that we have in our gender transitions. Please like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe, click the notification bell, share with all your friends, family, and pets. I know everyone in your life wants to watch this video, so please share with them, because otherwise they'd be so deprived. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.